Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining us today. We have prepared some questions about Nervos and can't wait to ask them.
Hey, this is Jane, and I'm a partner at the Innovation Fund, which is a 50 mil fund that focusing on early stage and growth stage startups. And the mission of the fund is actually to grow Nervos ecosystem as China Merchants Bank International has been an early investor, into the team and the project. Yeah,
Yes.
and glad to be here today. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, thanks for your introduction. So could you maybe introduce Nervos Network as well, a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So as for Nervos, the project began in the early 2018 with the hopes of becoming the core of an entirely new internet that combines the potential of both permissioned and permissionless blockchains for everyday internet users. It was founded by three co-founders, it's Kevin, Daniel, and Terry. Also Jan, who is the chief architect of Nervos. He was the only Ethereum developers, back in the days when they were developing Casper and sharding, and all of them have deep roots in the early days of a blockchain and crypto space in China. So previously, they have developed mining pool and crypto exchange, and also work for some national wise blockchain projects previously before they started Nervos.
Awesome. So what is then Nervos exactly, and could you tell us a little bit more about your future visions of Nervos mainnet?
Yeah, sure. So the mainnet was launched actually in November 2019, and it's like Bitcoin. It's a proof of work blockchain, but it also supports smart contract function. And many people, they are familiar with the term Web 3.0, but Nervos vision is it want to be the infrastructure that converts Web 2.0 to Web 3.0 without users notice. So what does this mean? It's actually, for a non-crypto users, they can actually register their encrypt wallets via mobile phone or email, and they don't need even to remember their mnemonic words. And the wallet provide high security, and assets are completely controlled by the user. They're all on chain. And for existing crypto users, they can use their MetaMask or other cryptocurrency wallets to use dApps or Nervos, and you can even receive CKB by using your Ethereum address. So yeah, so this is could only happen on Nervos because the blockchain itself is very flexible in design, and it supports different cryptographic primitives that can transfer cryptography used for other blockchains, email, cell phone numbers, and so on to Nervos.
Totally. That's a very interesting aspect of the mainnet. How do you see the overall market opportunities? So actually, there are a lot of mainnets out there who are competing each other and different trades, different merits and cons. So how do you see your opportunities?
Okay, so the opportunity, of course, is very huge. I would say it's beyond huge, because we're actually building the next generation internet, right? Because the current internet is good, right? But it's just lack the incentive layer, and that's how Facebook, Google, other big internet company sitting and grab it. And I think blockchain will change the game. And in terms of competition, yes, today we have a lot of different public blockchains, but CKB Nervos is really unique because it's based on proof of work, and we do think proof of work is the only way if you want to be store of assets. and if you want to be like very sustainable in very long term wise. And it's also like very challenging to start a new proof of work blockchain. But once you start it, it's like you grow your community, you grow everything very slowly but steadily. It's like wine, you know, like the longer you are there, the more stable you are there. Yeah.
Awesome. Just because you were mentioning proof of work is
Yes.
the future of the blockchain, but recently, as you might know, it has been
Criticized a
told
lot.
that it consumed a lot of energy, and especially Elon Musk mentioned it. How do you see that problem?
Well, so if we compare, you know, the energy consumption, you know, of our existing banking system, right? Like how different governments make money, right? Like all of the resources they're using, and compared to, you know, the energy that, you know, Bitcoin takes, I think it's very nothing. And it's actually because of, you know, proof of work is kind of like using energy, and actually people, they were trying to find, you know, cheaper energy to produce Bitcoin. So for example, in China, actually like there are a lot of hydropower stations in Sichuan. Like the energy is otherwise wasted if they were not being used for mining. And again, I do think like POW is a more fair way if you want to launch a network, and it's better for token distribution. And there are like a lot of POS blockchains out there, but I think like if only one could succeed, that's only, you know, Ethereum, because it has been there for a long time enough, and it has like, you know, enough spreaded distribution of tokens to support like a fair and distributed network. Yeah, so like this will take a long time if we go, you know, deeper, but like I'm very you know, confident, and I'm a fan of POW versus POS, because POS, like by its natural, is too similar to what we already have like in our current financial system. Yeah, but POW is something different. Yep.
Totally. I think it's very interesting to notice that our traditional banking system actually consumes a lot of energy that is not recognized by many people, but it does. And also I saw some materials that comparing the consumption of energy in terms of mining or the real gold, and comparing to crypto, and it actually turn out that that you would spend even more energy in terms of mining gold than crypto. So I guess but by listening to your opinion, that there is still a lot of opportunities in terms of POW out there. But how do you deal with the performance issue in terms of your consensus algorithm? Because one of the reasons why the recent new generation of blockchains are turning into POS, because Bitcoin and Ethereum
is faster.
It's too slow and takes a lot of transaction costs. How do you solve that problem?
Well, so basically, you know, like miners, they are maintaining, you know, the system, right? And they are getting paid by the tokens they got. So like this is the, you know, fundamental thing. And secondly, if we were talking about like what did we do with our consensus, like we did you know, a upgrade of the Nakamoto consensus. We call it like NC Max. So it's kind of like more efficient, and it's you know, same security, but like we have like higher throughput. But like I won't, you know, compare this with other, you know, POS blockchain, you know, who are claiming to be a internet level of speed, because like people, they are using blockchain not because of it's a fast, right? Because like if I only aiming to use something fast, I would just use something built on AWS, right? And there are just like 10 nodes out there to run a very fast database. So it's like, you know, to make conclusion, it's a, you know, faster POW, but it's still POW. Yeah.
Sure. And could you give us maybe some numbers? How much faster it would be compared to, for example, the Ethereum in terms of a transaction per second?
Sorry, like
Sorry, that was a
I
question
don't
that
have,
wasn't that wasn't
yeah,
on the list, but so
yeah, I know, but like I would say it's faster than Ethereum, faster than Bitcoin, and it's our block time is about like 5 minutes per block. Yeah, yeah, but I can get to you a exact number. Yeah.
Yes. I still can get the amount of performance that we're targeting. And I guess you have mentioned a little bit about this in other question, but let's
Yes.
focus more on the exact problem what Nervos is trying to solve. Could you give us some more detailed information about the targeted problem that we are solving here?
I see. Okay. Like we have seen a awkward situation now, as like there are a lot of blockchains today, right? It's very similar to early internet applications. They live on segregated networks, and they need like different ways to access and interact. And in today's decentralized world, we see this segregation into different ecosystem with very poor interoperability. And Nervos could solve this issue. And the way like we are solving it is different from Polkadot or Cosmos, right? Because like for Polkadot and Cosmos, they still need to connect to the hub or use their like, substrate to build the chain to get connected. But for Nervos, it's different. Like we are much humble. Say like, like we don't require you to do anything. It's just because like we have very flexible virtual machine. So that, if you are using any other wallet, like you can access to our dApps very easily. And for developers, like if they build something on CKB, like their dApps is accessible to other blockchain users. And there's like nearly no barrier. And I think like it's very, crucial for a like massive adoption per se. And also like we would enable the current internet users who are very used to say applications on iOS or Android to tap into the blockchain world very easily, even without the notice they're using a product based on a blockchain. I can explain this later in some specific say NFT use cases. Yeah, that's my input.
Awesome. For the viewers who are already investing in Nervos or who are already following Nervos for a while, it would be very curious about what you expect this year towards the end of the year. What's your target and milestones that you were trying to achieve?
I see. Okay, so since we launched our mainnet in November of 2019, like we have been building a suite of layer two tools that will enable developers to be able to very easily build on top of CKB. So this include a EVM compatible layer called Polyjuice. And that this will enable developers to seamlessly port their existing Ethereum dApps to CKB. And we also have a permissionless rollup framework called Godwalken. And furthermore, like we have a cross-chain bridge called Force Bridge. And we are extending our cross-chain support beyond Ethereum. Recently, like we formed a partnership with Cardano to allow them like to use this cross-chain bridge. And that's on the developer tool side. And on the application side, we do have several projects already launching or are going to launch on Mainnet in the second half. So that include a NFT creation platform and a DID and also a DEX.
Yeah, because you mentioned NFT a little bit. NFT is undoubtedly a very hot topic recently.
Yeah.
And how is your view towards the development of NFTs, and what is Nervos involvement in terms of NFTs?
Okay, yeah. So that's what I want to really excited about. So there is a NFT minting platform called Golden Legend, and like it was only launched say 3 weeks ago. And as far as I'm aware of, among all the blockchains, all the like NFT platforms built on other blockchains, the like this one really provide internet level of user experience for NFT users. For example, multi-channel network, aka agency for idols. They might already have existing apps on iOS or Android, and they can use Golden Legend to mint NFTs. And the fans and users, they can purchase NFTs from existing channels they're familiar with. So none of neither the issuer or the end users need to touch crypto at all. And once they receive the NFTs and want to transfer them between each other, they don't need to pay any gas fee. So during the whole process, it's like you don't really even need to notice like, oh, like I'm using a product on blockchain, and like although all of the transactions they're actually on chain. And I think like this is crucial if you want to see a massive adoption of NFT. Because like we have say Flow and Binance, like they launch their own NFT platform, but like the whole process will still involve you to register for a say exchange account or like purchase some crypto.
Sure. I think you touched a very important aspect of in terms of real how to get a mass adoption in terms of NFTs, because for example, in Ethereum, currently the most proliferated mainnet in the world. If you get the token and if you want to send it, you need to buy Ethereum and send it to your wallet address, and which is a very, very painful and also difficult task for a user who is not so familiar with blockchain and crypto. So may I ask you a little bit more specific how you solve this problem? How do you achieve not letting users to buy any Nervos tokens to send your NFTs?
It's so like the Golden Legend, it's actually like a 2B service, which means like, hey, you can buy Kree1, you can use Kree1 to buy they call the energy points. So what they do is like they mint the NFT for you, and the minting of the NFT will actually cost CKB, because the native token CK bytes, like bytes is actually represent the on-chain storage. And it's not like the storage as IPFS whatsoever, but it's like the storage like running in the consensus. It's the state of a blockchain. So that's why like the issuer, like they don't need to own crypto, and for the end users, they can just like receive the NFT without involving with gas fee. That's because of like we have a very special programming model. So each NFT is like a cell. Cell is a expanded UTXO, and like within a this expanded UTXO, I could put a code like to represent gas fee. Say like this NFT will include gas fee that allow you to transfer for 10,000 times. And like if you run out with gas fee, the issuer, they can again purchase energy points, and like we could do it under the hood, so without the user's notice.
Understood. Very, very interesting and a very promising aspect of the mainnet to actually reach the mass adoption of NFTs. I also heard that you have something called Universal Passport. What is Universal Passport, and could you give us some brief introduction of this?
Yeah, so I kind of like, touched this idea a lot in the previous questions. So in general, like we provide this solution towards, we call it interoperability 2.0, is to allow for building of universal applications on our, very flexible layer 1 blockchain. And we empower this through what we call the universal passport. This is a suite of tools that allow developers to build universal applications. A universal, passport suite. Applications can be built that are truly universal, bound by the current constraints of a very, siloed blockchain ecosystem. And we believe that the future of decentralized economy rests on having universal blockchain application. Users, need to be able to quickly and easily take advantage of every chain that they want to, in a way that is as simplified as using a web browser. At the same time, we want these users to get, the full spectrum of a decentralized economy that is built to serve them without having to compromise for a better experience. And on the other hand, for the users, those who will have the universal passport at their disposal, it will allow for unparalleled user reach and uptake, as well as a massive saving on time and effort. Essentially, building on Nervos blockchain with this suite of tools in reach means that dApps being built are universal and can transcend chains and be part of the entire ecosystem.
Totally. That's also very a promising aspect of Nervos. Let's move on to our next questions about the funds. Could you tell us more about your incubator funds and the innovation fund?
Yeah, sure. So the China Merchants Bank International is in partnership with the Nervos Foundation have created this fund, and this fund will expand the Nervos network and the greater blockchain ecosystem by investing in early and growth stage startups, and the focus will facing solutions. And the investment vehicles will include dApps, DeFi, and NFT marketplace and distributed ledger platforms.
Awesome. All right. About the next question is about your community, because I think blockchain is all about community. How has your community grown since your first launch until now?
Oh, it's keep growing, and we have like a very diversified community per se, because we have miners, developers, and retail investors, institutions, and we have seen a lot of growth since our early days, and a new type of audience join our community. So originally, like we had a small, strong core of people who believed and invested in Nervos. But like recent growth and expansion of the network has seen new projects coming into the network and new investors joining, as well as a range of partnerships, such as Cardano, who has also helped expand our reach. We are very excited about growth we are seeing as it's across all sectors, from big numbers on Twitter to more development on the CKB platform. And I would say like, we are very positive to see, seeing those strong community growth all over the world.
Yeah, that actually seems a good sign. From the early investors to the actual projects and actual users is a great sign of a growing community, and it's also very promising. Is your fund actually, how is your fund role in terms of growing your community? Does it really help to like fund the necessary core project? And do they take the real role in terms of laying the essential building blocks in terms of creating the infrastructure and building up the community?
Could you say it again, the question?
So my question was about how do you see the role in terms of leveraging the growth of your community and user base and creating that ecosystem in terms of infrastructure.
I see. Okay, so since like Nervos, the core team originally like they're from China, and like we do have the bridge to Chinese developers. Like they are very talented developers, but usually like they will focus on Chinese market first. And I think like with our expanding global community, there are like more and more interest, into those ecosystem projects. So for example, previously, like we usually focus on, a Chinese market first, and maybe after like, a period of time testing, we launch it like in international market. But like nowadays, we have those community members, they're so passionate. Like they just dig into our forum, they dig into WeChat groups, to get a screenshot, and they Google Translate it, and they're like, kind of like, shouting in Telegram, say like, why you are hiding this, awesome project from us? Like we want like them to be released, same time as we released in China. So I think like the fund as an incubator, like we'll do a lot of outreach for those projects to reach to a broader audience, and this like cannot be done without the help from the overall community.
Yeah, that's again that's a great sign from the community of growing, and it's a great sign in terms of the overall success of Nervos. And let's move on to our last question, actually. So what does the future look like for Nervos in terms of like 1 year ahead, 3 years ahead, maybe 10 years ahead?
Yeah, like I tend to look from a longer time frame, and I think like the future of Nervos is closely aligned with the future of blockchain technology in general, and we are aiming to create the new foundation of Web 3.0, which allows for blockchain integration for the common internet user. Just as people were operating on segregated networks in the early days of the internet, and we saw that merge into a vast network, we believe will be the foundation for universal internet-like public network, say in 10 years.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for answering my questions.
Sure, my pleasure. I will get back to you on the block time and the transaction.
It was actually my personal curiosity. So
yeah, I will get back to you.
So just for numbers, like Bitcoin recently in the last 7 years was 7 days, the average is like 4 to 5 transactions per second, and for Ethereum it's like 15, and for like DPoS the numbers are like thousands and multi-thousands levels. So I guess
we are at
100,
we're like 100 level. It's definitely not 1,000 level.
But you guys have this layer 2 ZKP based rollup aspect of your mainnet, which could kind of leverage the overall throughput.
Yeah, and this like POW thing, it's because like we think like if we're speaking about impossible triangle, right? And like we think for it has to be like layer 1 plus layer 2 architecture, and for layer 1 the most important thing is security and decentralization, and like within all of the speed could happen on layer 2.
So that's another very important aspect that you mentioned, like so based on Vitalik's that trilemma, that if you speed up transaction speed, then you get you must compromise the decentralization aspect and the security aspect as well. So and it's very interesting to see a new coming mainnet that focuses on POW, because the rest of the world are actually just heading towards POS, because it helps you in terms of marketing your
No,
marketing
it
your work
didn't.
performance. So
No,
you're
it
very
didn't.
orthodox.
No, it's actually like brought up us a lot of challenge because like there are a lot of misconception about POW, and
Sure.
it's like really difficult, to launch a POW chain because like you need to convince miners to mine on your chain. And we actually like we did a lot of preparation during the testnet period, to allow them to do testnet mining, to accumulate hash rate and let them like get familiar with Nervos. And we're kind of lucky because like we are from China, so like we've got like chances to let the miners to know about us, through a lot of like meetups and events. And in terms of the sustainability, like I do believe POW live longer compared with POS chains.
Yeah, you guys are very unique in terms of that perspective, and I really think it's very interesting, and I'm very
we are
great supporter of your ideas.
Thank you. Yeah, we are the the weirdo in the whole class, and we are sometimes like walking a very lonely road, and there's only several chains ahead of us.
Yeah. So wish you all the best in terms of your lonely journey. But I guess it makes you guys very also very unique. So it's great to hear, and thanks a lot for answering your questions.
The Nervos Common Knowledge Base, or CKB, innovates on Bitcoin's proof-of-work store-of-value security model. Bitcoin's proof-of-work has delivered ever-increasing security for more than 10 years without a single successful hack. Miners are paid a fixed BTC amount to secure the network, and as BTC's price increases, so do the rewards, attracting more miners and increasing security. Smart contract platforms, like Ethereum, support multiple assets, expanding the scope of blockchain applications. But when these assets increase in value, there is a greater incentive to attack the platform, but no increased incentive to maintain security. This is because security is paid in ETH, and the price of ETH is independent from these other assets. To be a multi-asset store-of-value platform, the security of the network needs to grow with the value of the assets it protects. Nervos CKB does this by capturing the total network value through its native token, the CK Byte, which entitles their holder to storage on the blockchain. In this way, it is equivalent to land ownership. As demand for land to store assets on CKB increases, demand for CK Bytes is expected to grow as well. Landowners are taxed for space occupied, while token holders are protected in the Nervos DAO. As more assets are stored, CK Byte demand is expected to increase, raising security and raising the attractiveness of storing valuable assets. In a decentralized future, a multi-asset blockchain's value will come from its ability to safely and securely issue and store assets. Sustainable security for a Layer 1 multi-asset platform is therefore essential for long-term success. Much like Bitcoin's network effects and first-mover advantage to become the de facto universal store of monetary value, as the first truly multi-asset store of value platform, we see CKB becoming the universal platform for store of assets. CKB, the multi-asset, store of value-focused smart contract platform.
Nervos offers the power of a new programming model. The cell model is inspired by Bitcoin, which provides an owner's sole control of their BTC. Smart contract platforms move beyond Bitcoin, but do so by handing over control to smart contracts. The cell model provides cell owners, not smart contracts, full control over digital assets while still providing developers a flexible programming model. Cells contain immutable data, such as token amount or code that verifies token transfers. A token transaction would spend a sender's token cell, create a new token cell for the recipient, and execute code associated with that token to enforce verification rules, such as sent amount must equal received amount. Because wallets compute the results of transactions and send them to the network for verification, cell dependencies can be specified in transactions, allowing nodes to verify transactions in parallel. The cell model provides substantial benefits, including predictable state changes, true digital asset ownership, and effective resource utilization.
If you've ever tried to find information about a cryptocurrency, you've surely seen just how immature and fragmented the crypto markets are. Verified information is hard to find, and this leads to huge losses for investors. The costs of struggling with fake news forces companies to divert resources away from their main goals, slowing down innovation and hurting investor returns in the long run. This is where Xangle comes in. Xangle is a disclosure system where blockchain companies share their latest updates so investors can easily find them. These verified announcements or disclosures are archived and distributed through the Xangle platform and its network of affiliates. In other words, when a project makes a post, it's instantly made available to investors, exchanges, funds, and institutions that are interested in the crypto project and its coin. Xangle also provides a profile page for crypto projects to outline their key facts. Be it company information, token economics, or on-chain statistics, the platform provides everything an investor needs to make more informed decisions. Combined with disclosures, the Xangle profile pages serve as an official resume for crypto projects around the world. Say hello to efficient data management and distribution. Xangle is all about simplicity and efficiency. We understand that everyone will do their own unique due diligence, so we provide critical research reports, market trend updates, charts, and credibility ratings that aid in that process. Our end goal? To make crypto accessible to all, opening the door to greater institutionalization. So, get online to Xangle.io or download our app today to monitor the latest updates made by your favorite crypto projects. Meet the best investing partner you'll ever need.